waiting. And I hope, yeah, thank you so much for joining. And before I give it to you, I'll just introduce you to because you're a newbie for us. You're joining us for the first time. And let me tell you one thing very honestly. We chose Sister Olga for this because we felt that Sister Olga belongs to a region which is really going through a lot of tough times. All of you know very well, I don't need to go there. And it really needs a lot of clarity in action or clarity in thoughts, whatever. I mean, it's like clarity personified. She's a practical example of at the center, she's there, and outside there's a bomb going on suddenly. What to do next? So it's something very practical which she is facing. So she'll give us a lot of tips. So let me take a few more minutes more and speak about her. That she is basically born to parents from Siberia and Ukraine and grown up in Belarus. All of us know these countries now very well. And she has been living in Ukraine for the past 27 years. So she's got a mix of all these three cultures. And she's a graduate from the Moscow Textile Academy, where she has studied fine arts, graphic design, and fashion design. And she has become a part of Brahma Kumaris since 1990, more than 30 years now, I must say. And since 1992, she has been fully committed to this spiritual life. And she was the national coordinator of Brahma Kumaris in the country of Latvia, and now is currently also acting as an NC of Brahma Kumaris in Ukraine, coordinating the various centers around in that part of the country. And she's also a member of the regional Brahma Kumaris core group, as well as a member of the council under the board of Women's Association of the Odessa region. I'm sure all of us are now very well aware of different cities of Ukraine with all the news going around what happens in each and every city there. So lastly, a few lines about her in the form of a poem. So today we have with us Sister Olga, who's joining us from Ukraine. She's from the area which is indeed undergoing the war pain, but she as an angel showers the coolness of the rain, taking people away from the grief into the happy terrain. Through her sweet gesture, reminding them again and again that this all shall pass away and roll away into the drain, and that this shall give us a chance to heal for the brain, because no one ever has in the past from the war anything to gain. And that clarity, how to achieve, she shall clearly explain. Spirituality and divine grace is the only thing which is main. Finally, we need to understand that and for future try to maintain, which will in turn take us away from this feeling of disdain. So with this, I would welcome Sister Olga again, and thanks a million for joining right at the onset of the workshop. I'm sure you have seen what we have been sharing. So the stage is all yours. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Manoj Pai, for introduction and the poem. It was a surprise. It's an honor to be with you today and share my thoughts and experiences on the quality of clarity. And I really feel that you've already studied it so thoroughly that well, what remains only to repeat and to share some experiences. So, as I understand, it's the second meeting on clarity, and we've already heard a lot. And clarity actually is a value, a quality which is especially necessary for all of us now in this time of uncertainty and chaos. And the absence of this quality can literally turn a person's life into a nightmare. I remember the first days of the war in Ukraine, the war which has been going for a year and 3 months now. Well, no one thought it would be so long, and no one knows when it will end. Now people around us are kind of used to living in a state of uncertainty, which war brings. When there is no clarity about your future, and when I'm asked if I can do something, I mean, for a service online, for example, for region or internationally, and they ask me, can I do something? Will I be able to do something, say, in 3 months, to participate somewhere or to go somewhere? I always tell them that we say here that during the war, you can plan your life only for a maximum of 2 weeks in advance. So uncertain is our life now. And well, more than a year ago, one morning, we woke up and found that our life had completely changed, as a war usually changes the life of a person or a country. And we didn't know exactly how, but we knew for sure that our world would no longer be the same as before. I think you understand that we just survived the pandemic, and all these 2 years, we thought that it would end at some point, and we thought that then we would return to our former normal life. Some did, of course, but not in this country. And now, here, we understand. I think many people, not only those who dedicated their life to spiritual study, many understand that everything has changed so much here that it will never be the same as before, even if the war ends, and which we cannot say with certainty as well. Well, and on that day, actually the day before the war started, many people more or less knew where they were going. They planned and assumed that their tomorrow, near future would be. But the next second after they learned the news about the war, their future changed. We all understood it. Also, we didn't yet understand how. And then this uncertainty, the lack of clarity, I think there is no person in this country who hasn't been affected by this war. And you can imagine what kind of atmosphere is immediately, just immediately created on this 6,000 kilometers of area. I mean, in whole country, when this question, what's going to happen to us now, arise at the same time in the mind of all, I don't know, at least 20 million people. And you can imagine how intense the atmosphere, how strong a feeling of uncertainty, anxiety, and fear was. And some rushed to find out what political observers were speaking about this. Some went to fortune tellers, some acted impulsively and without thinking twice packed up their luggage and left the country. And I remember there was a rush at the train stations. People travel 10, 12 hours to the border standing on their feet because there was no place to sit on the train. Just to leave the country, many of them are leaving their things, their luggage on the platform because there was simply no place for suitcases for their luggage on the train. And it was like mass psychosis. You see, like the tsunami, one wave after another. But I can't speak for everyone, of course, but I know that basically all our students, I mean members of the Brahma Kumaris community in Ukraine, weren't subject to that panic. And it was thanks to this state of inner peace and stability that we'd accumulated during our spiritual life through meditation practice. We were even attacked by our people from our BK community from other countries. They called, they wrote us letters, they texted saying, you should leave the country when you're going we're going to leave it. And it felt like they were more worried than us. And our people, I mean from BK centers, spoke to their relatives, both here and abroad, and they insisted on them leave as soon as possible. And yeah, the panic was that those territories was going to be occupied by foreign troops. And see, you should know that that nation has the historical memory of the last war, and we all heard from our elders what it was like to live in occupation. And so it was, yeah, this time there was fear, rumors, and a lot of panic. And you can understand that it's quite difficult to maintain clarity at such time. And without clarity, it's almost impossible to take the right decision, what to do, to go or to stay, and you see how to calm your emotions and feelings, and so on. And if we hadn't made certain spiritual efforts before all this came, I don't know how would we survive. I mean, our mental stage and our, I know, our feelings, our everything, our inner world. So, clarity in this situation, I think that we could see it clear enough because we practiced. And what I personally think about clarity, how to gain clarity, how to maintain clarity. And so I'd like to just speak about it. What types of clarity do I have? Do I practice? And we already heard the definition of what clarity is. I think Asha Didi made it very nice. And for me, first of all, clarity means to see the true state of things, yes, but also clearly understand where to go next. If you need to take this decision. And I think that it'd be useful to look at different aspects of clarity, maybe not all of them, but what I think would be important to me. And first, and we've spoken about it, clarity of vision and perception. A clear picture of what's happening, that you look at what is happening, you hear something, and suddenly a clear picture of it appears in your mind. So, clarity of vision. This is like a light of sun on a clear day that illuminates the landscape in front of you, and you can see everything clearly and every detail, and no clouds hide the picture. Oh, it's like looking through crystal clear water. Nothing obscures it, and you see everything as it is. And for me, it's a little different from what we call the ability to see the essence of things. Since this ability to see the essence of things, I'd call our perspicacity, the ability to penetrate through ambiguity, or which surrounds a problem or situation, like clouds. And I would attribute perspicacity more to intellect, and clarity yet more to the mind. Since their perspicacity is the ability to instantly catch the essence of what is happening, of actually exist. But clarity is the ability to instantly understand the whole picture of what's happening or existing. And it's more like a revelation, your personal revelation. It's like a clarification. So I understand what's happening, and I understand it as it is. And this makes the mind strong and leaves no confusion or doubt. Take, for example, a situation where you have a person in front of you who tells you their story or problem, and they're talking and talking and talking, but you got the point a long time ago from the beginning, from the and you understood the cause of their problem because your perspicacity worked here. But at the same time, you saw the full picture as it is, and you understand the way out of it. And you could give them a correct and clear advice because of this. So this is clarity for me. And clarity is, as I understand it, is more about the present and the future. And with it, you can see the big picture, maybe with a lot of details. And perspicacity is about understanding the causes. So it's more about the past. And clarity is about the way out and solutions. And I think that when you want to have clarity, you should prepare yourself to see things as they are, so that later you won't be disappointed. Because you may discover the picture of the world that you've built in your mind doesn't correspond to reality you finally see. It's a hard time when you go through moments when it seems your world has collapsed and you're standing on the ruins of that wonderful picture that you've been painted in your mind and cherished for so many years. And all this turned out to have nothing to do with reality. And here, of course, I think we're faced with another dilemma, since seeing the world as it is, which we actually call clarity, may contradict our course towards a positive attitude, positive thinking, and a positive everything. I know, for example, a person, a BK Brahma Kumaris, who is convinced that everyone around her loves her dearly. And she's really convinced, since in her presence, they behave nicely, respectfully, expressing their love, while hiding what they really think about this person. I think this perception of the reality, and this is actually a desire to be loved, not reality, it's kind of rose-colored glasses, and these don't give you the opportunity to feel real vibrations, attitude, and this prevents you from understanding that people may have completely different feelings for you. And as a result, I see it's poor management, as this person manages their organization and personnel, and poor delegation, which often turns out to be wrong and doesn't work. Therefore, clarity of perception is for me a very important aspect of this review. And then, of course, comes the clarity of decisions. And who among us wouldn't like to make precise, clear decisions, not to waste time on doubts and later on correcting the consequences, or repenting when it's not possible to correct them. And clarity of decision is preceded by clarity of purpose and clarity of direction. Make decision based on a clear understanding of where to go and what to do. So to say, goals, path, and steps. First, there is clarity of vision. Then it becomes clear where to go and how to do it. If we have clarity of purpose, direction, and decision, and of course the desire to move in that direction, we have the willpower to carry it out. To be honest, for me, willpower is not really something you need to care about, because some people feel that they lack of this power, willpower, but it's actually not a big deal. If there is a desire and clarity, the strength, the inner power will come to help us accomplish our goal. And this power will come if not from within myself, then from God, the highest source of all powers that will support me. So the clarity of purpose, direction, and decision. And the next aspect of clarity, it was, as I understood, mostly discussed the last session with Shadidi last Sunday. Much attention has been paid to it since this aspect of clarity is important for our life if we want to have good relationships. And this is clarity of expression and communication. To express yourself, to express your thoughts, intentions, or ideas, etc. Because we all know that uncertainty gives us hard time, and lack of transparency and clarity gives rise to speculations, and a person think out the rest what you have spoken, and the whole picture of the health situation can be completely distorted by it. Then you have to deal not with how you see the situation, but mainly with how they see it. And I think quite a lot was said about this in the previous session. And well, I really don't have much to add to it. And well, maybe that how clear and transparent we ourselves are when we express ourselves, and of course how clear our mind is, and how others see in us who we are. And if we are talking about the inculcation of clarity as a quality of virtue, often, well, as I understand and as I see it and I watch it in people, often clarity of mind, of thinking, as well as ability to see everything as it is, can be just an innate quality with which a person came into this life, so to say. It either is there or it isn't. There are people who simply have clarity of vision, mind, and decision making. And as for example, there are people who have a natural wisdom, maybe it's worldly wisdom, and this is their natural quality of their personality, and they don't study any spirituality, and this is just their innate quality. I think we all need such people in our life, and they are usually successful in what they do whether it's business, science, or just relationships. And on the other hand, the good news is that we have only a few qualities that we can't develop. So the quality or values that cannot be developed, cannot be inculcated. And they cannot be inculcated because we always have them inside. And they are our original and eternal qualities. And those are the original qualities of our soul. And we know that peace, love, happiness, bliss, purity, and wisdom. And if I don't experience them constantly, it means they're just sleeping and I just need to wake them up, creating favorable conditions for them to awake, to be awakened. And I need to start to refine my mind, refill my mind with them, which we do here in Brahma Kumaris with the help of Raja Yoga meditation practice. So all other qualities, values, virtues can be inculcated. And if we trace their origin, sorry, wait a minute. My battery is low. I'll be back. Sorry. Well, so our qualities and values we want to inculcate, if we trace their origin, we'll always find that at the basis of any positive quality or virtue of our personality or any quality or virtue, there's one of the original and eternal qualities of the soul. Therefore, if I think that I lack clarity, then in time of need, I think I can't apply it. So then I should develop it and improve it over time. I for instance, remember when I was young and studied at the university, although I enjoyed my study, as we studied arts and fashion and everything, and I enjoyed the company of creative and free people, but at the same time, I feel a kind of uncertainty, even, I don't know, the feeling, not fear, but this uncomfortable feelings, because I didn't see my way in life, the path I need to go, and I didn't understand the world around me. Then at some point I began to visit the Brahma Kumari Center to study meditation, and since then everything somehow started to become clearer to me, and not only about my own life, but what was happening around me became also clear. And I can see how this ability increases over time. And now every time I see in my past experience, I'm amazed at how I couldn't see those things clearly then, because it was so obvious. And I think a very important role in this is played by spiritual knowledge we receive here. And I've been receiving and studying it all these years. And of course, meditation, Raja Yoga, which connects us with the Almighty, the source of eternal light and wisdom. Therefore, despite the fact that our body is gradually aging, and the brain too, thanks to regular spiritual study, we are able to see things much more clearly than before. And in order to understand clarity as a quality and or value, to understand how to inculcate it or develop it, I think we need to look in the inner world of a person who possesses it. And what can we find there? First of all, it's a structured mind. A mind in which there is order and there is no mess. A person can clearly see their thoughts, emotions, and feelings. Again, you are aware of them and you live mindfully. What else? Calmness, the ability to cut off everything unnecessary at that moment, and concentration of thoughts. And also clarity is natural in people who've developed both logical and intuitive abilities, where there is a balance between a logical approach and feelings, or they take the middle path between those two. And what steps do we need to take to make clarity our nature, or make it a tool that helps us not only survive in this world, but live happily and move forward? Before taking any steps, it will be useful to assess the risks, because clarity requires courage. Why? Because it shows things as they are. It exposes everything, and we need to be prepared to the fact that the world may not be the way we imagined it. Clarity kind of highlights things in their true meanings. And perhaps if we come across the truth, we won't like it. This is why some of us sometimes avoid clarity, because it can be traumatic, or because we are not ready to face the true state of things. We may receive revelations that we didn't quite expect, and that doesn't match our desires. So we need courage to face the truth. Otherwise, it can hurt our old ideas and ourselves as well. Therefore, I think that first of all, courage is needed to develop clarity. Courage is needed because because clarity is associated with being honest with ourselves, because at some point we will need to check the purity of our intentions. In some in some cases, clarity can be, so to speak, dangerous to others. Because when you see the picture clearly and you want to translate it to others, for them, your clear understanding can be too much, and they may not digest it, and they are not able to accept it. They may resist you, as it makes them uncomfortable, and they'd prefer to be in a state of certain, I don't know, uncertainty, ambiguity, because that way they feel better. And often we know that often people who clearly understand what is happening and what is going to be the next sin and in life, those people are often misunderstood. I recall a story I was told many years ago, that one of our senior teachers, the Brahma Kumari Brahma Kumari teacher, was seriously ill. And of course, they made every effort to provide him with the necessary medical care. And they were doing it with a lot of love and care. And he was in the hospital where he was treated. And one day he said to those who cared for him to bring him home from the hospital to his room. And they began to resist, to tell him that no, he should be in hospital, that he was getting better actually. And they wanted to keep him there to recover. To which he just quietly said, "You understand nothing." And in the end, they did as he said, and a few days later, he passed away. So he kind of saw the picture clearly, because he knew himself and he just wanted to leave his body, not in hospital. He clearly understood what awaited him, but others were not ready for this. So if in spite of everything, we believe that benefits of such quality as clarity are much greater than disadvantages, then we're ready and able to move forward and prepare ourselves to accept clarity and make it our own. We know everything about it, how to do it. First of all, we need to understand ourselves. We need clear communication with ourselves, and we need to see ourselves clearly, our thoughts, intentions, and all this we need to do in a state of introversion. And the first step we can take, it's nothing new, is to look at our mind, thoughts, emotions from the outside, to practice a detached observer. If we know how to do this, it's perfect, it's good. If not, we can start small observing, for example, what doesn't cause an emotional outburst in us. Since often emotions deprive us of clarity, it's better to start the practice of detached observing scenes that aren't directly related to you personally. We can do it, for example, imagine sitting on a park bench, people are calmly walking in front of you, and children are playing, and you quietly watch them, and you're in a peaceful state, and you're sitting, enjoying, and just remember the feeling. And then you can do it with your own situations and your own thoughts to be a detached observer. So the next things we need is inner silence. If there is silence inside it, everything will be clear. And what else create noise in the mind except for emotions? And we also know this very well. And the mind creates a huge amount of clouds, fog, in the form of empty thoughts, thoughts of unhappiness, suffering, doubts, and all these thoughts make us weak. And they hide our clarity from us. So the next step is to clean up the mind. And then to create fewer thoughts and pay attention to the ability to focus. And for this, we need a separate practice. What else? Elevated thoughts, because if we have elevated thinking, they have the energy of clarity, and they have power, and which this we can achieve success. And we also need to study our thoughts, get to the source, to the point where they arise, evaluate them at that level, only then allow or not allow them into our mind. And to do this, we need to know ourselves as a spiritual energy, a soul. So in order to understand ourselves, now we need inner silence. And well, otherwise, there are many influences of our mind which make us weaker. So we need to do our mind more powerful, think less, slow down the speed of thoughts, have clear thoughts filled with meaning and based on positive motivation. Because a clear thought is like an arrow hitting the target. And so, what else? When there is a lack of clarity, it can be also because of lack of focus. We may, I don't know, live such a life where we start many things and leave them unfinished. Maybe because we don't fully understand why we do something. Maybe because we are undisciplined or disorganized. So we have a lot of thoughts and distractions. Or maybe we do something, but we're not sure that that's what we want. So we don't have any success, gain any success. And um, we can develop the ability to focus in meditation. And meditation, as we know, is a very powerful tool for working with our inner world, um, to achieve a state of peace, purity, light, etc. It's generally believed that in order to get such feelings in meditation, we need to relax physically and mentally, letting go of any tension, at the same time concentrate on what we want to experience. But it doesn't always work because we miss another important step. And it's useless actually to concentrate our thoughts on something if we don't know how to focus, or rather how to unfocus, how to, or if we are unfocused. And it won't give any feelings, any experience in meditation. It even can cause a headache and tension. So if you only try to concentrate, so what I want to say, you need to be able to focus to achieve concentration, because concentration is the ability to visualize your goal and to keep your attention on it as long as you need it. And focus is the ability to cut off all unnecessary thoughts. So after that, you can concentrate your thoughts to your aim or your goal. So the focus is very, very essential ability if we want to develop our clarity. And what else? The time is. I think that with all this, we prepare our mind to perceive the true state of things. That is the truth. And the truth is, as we know, God. And the greatest clarity in understanding what's happening, to understand people, ourselves, will be when we can look at it through the eyes of God. So we prepare our mind to receive the touch of God. And this is not a mystical thing. I told that at the beginning of the war, at some point, we were advised to leave the city where one of the centers of Brahma Kumaris is located here in Odessa, to go further to the western border, away from the front line, because they were afraid of occupation. And our opinions differed. Then we decided to sit in meditation for half an hour with this question and our mind to our Supreme Father, asking him what should we do. And then we compared what we, so to speak, heard or perceive, or our thoughts, which came during meditation. And there were three of us at the center. And when we compared our thoughts and experience, it turned out that we had the same thoughts, literally, the same thoughts, word by word, all three of us. And I think that this is the highest level of clarity when yeah, the God, the Supreme, the Shubhava, as we call him, make he himself can make something clear to us. And well, I think that God likes a pure heart. Therefore, if we have clarity of intentions, our intentions are pure, so we can connect ourselves to God and take from Him this clarity, this truth, so we can see the whole situation and the way out of it. Well, I think that's it, because my time is over.
Thank you so much, Sister Olga. So for putting up your thoughts and also your experiences about the war. So since we are running short of time, I won't be taking any questions. I will just request Sister Claudia from Vancouver to please propose the vote of thanks. So over to you, Sister Claudia.
Shanti, Sister Olga, was very nice to hear you speaking and bringing another perspective to clarity. I quite like when you say to use perspicacity, which is quite about something that we have from the past, and then use the clarity of the mind in the present, and then see very clear the picture of the future. So it's quite of a very nice vision to say. And also when you said about the mind has to be no mess, nothing mixed, no negative thought, no nothing. So very, very clear. So it's almost like a film that we can see what we should do and not to do. And I'm sure that when you said that you have that point where you ask the Supreme Father what to do, three of you, that clarity came very much like that. And it was no mess mixed, nothing mixed, was just very clear because when we have a pure mind, we can see things, even if the things outside, it doesn't look, it looks a little bit, looks like good, but we can see very easily what is in our mind, what is the reality. And then like you said, also be mindful too. So remove all the things unnecessary. Otherwise, we cannot have clarity what to do. And then also, I like that one thing that's because when we see, then we have to have courage to do it. So was very nice the way how you bring everything together. I'm very thanks to you. And then our heart is with you there with all the family. And then we always, and I think you are very courageous and you give courage to the family. Of course, we cannot run away. Many times things happen to the family and then to the country, to whatever, we cannot run away. We have to have that courage to go ahead and make things happen. So thank you very much for everything. It was very nice to hear from you. All the best for you and for all of them there. All our life, love for all of you.
Oh, thank you, dear Claudia.
So thank you so much, Sister Claudia. And before we go into the closing meditation and the group photo, I would just share the screen quickly and show you the announcements for the upcoming episodes. So after clarity, let's now move on to zeal and enthusiasm, which is the value for next, I must say, 2 weeks. So the next weekend, we'll have two of our eloquent senior Rajyogis from the East Coast, Dr. Kala Iyengar, who is the director of Peace Village Retreat Center, and Sister Judy Johnson, who is the coordinator at Halifax in Canada. So both of them will be having, again, a beautiful conversation, same time as always. And then we have another very senior BK, all the way from Africa. I'm sure you all know him very well, Brother Nizar Juma, a very successful businessman, I must say, and full of zeal and enthusiasm. And actually, all of us know him very well through the FOP, that is the Future of Power program, which he really had a lot of enthusiasm, through which he conducted in various cities, big cities of India, and did a lot of service of the VIPs over there. So he'll be there the week after, again during the workshop, sharing his wisdom on zeal and enthusiasm. And yes, as always, we have the silence retreat on zeal and enthusiasm. So we should be doing that this time on the third weekend, which is Sunday morning for India time and evening for the West Coast time. And this is again, thanks to Sister Kosha. This is our calendar for the May. We'll make the other announcements later of the other episodes. And yes, we have received quite a few new email addresses and numbers. So please feel free to do so as well. We still have 5 minutes left for the meditation. So you all can still send it if you still haven't. And all the workshops and episodes of the Values for Life series, which we have covered, are all available. The links are as below, omshanti.tk /workshops. And similarly for the episodes, it's /playlist/English. So you can select whichever language you want to. These are our websites of the Vihasa and the Vancouver team. So I'll just stop sharing. And as always, there's a big request for having a photograph. So maybe Sister Anu could do that, and then we'll go in the meditation mode.
Yeah, sure. Everybody, you can open your video to take the picture, and you can also go to the gallery view to see everybody on the frame on your computer. So thank you, Sister Olga. It was very accurate, experience-based sharing. And we always take our picture so that we have this memory. So people are still opening their videos slowly. So this memory is stays with us forever. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, Sister Olga. I got the picture, so we can now go.
So yeah, thank you, Sister Anu. So now actually I just have to leave. I have a meeting here. It's 12 exactly. I'm slightly running late. There are many meetings here. So thank you so much, Sister Olga. And then we'll go in the meditation mood. I have to leave now. So if Anu sister, you can play the music, and yeah, it'll be great. Thanks.
Thank you, brother. Olga, would you take us through a few words, commentary, or just music?
Sure. Let's sit quietly and completely withdraw our mind from the world around us, from our rules, from the sensations. Let's slow down the speed of our thoughts and dive deeper into the very essence of our being, into the depths of the soul. I look at my heart, my spiritual heart, and see how pure it is. There are no selfish desires inside it. Only pure feelings for myself, for others. Pure, elevated love. There are peace and acceptance wishes to all. I open my heart to God. I am ready to accept the truth as it is. The light of God enters my heart, my mind, illuminates them with its light. My mind and my heart become clear.
Thank you so much, Sister Olga. It was very clear and it stayed with us. We'll definitely taking to practice. And as Sister Claudia mentioned, we all are with all of you, the whole people and family in Ukraine, with our hearts and wishing you all.
I wish all the best to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.